Hello everyone. Hello grades 5 and 6. This is week 25 of the 40-week program of SED. My name is Jacqueline Glemke and I am your emotional literacy expert. Today we will be talking about the growth mindset. Now, you may ask yourself, what is the growth mindset? And for those who are very curious, I put a little subtitle under that, which reads, How to Improve Your Learning with Positive Thinking. Now, you might think, well, I am a positive person, but let's see whether you apply your growth mindset at all times and whether you take all the opportunities that you have in your life when applying that. So, a growth mindset, in short, could be described as believing that your brain and abilities can grow when we practice, when we ask for help, and when we keep trying. Now, this does not mean that everything is easy. It means believing that you can improve, believing in your own abilities. Now, let's start off with a small exercise. Now, try to picture a situation in the past week or so in which you think you might have applied this kind of growth mindset. Or if you cannot think of any such situation, think of one where you struggled and where you got stuck. And then what did you do next? Did you say to yourself, well, I can't do this? Or did you say to yourself, I usually keep trying, but today is just not one of those days? Try to picture that situation for a few seconds. Now, today, we will be talking about these following things. By the end of today, you'll be able to explain what the growth mindset is. You will have at least 2 strategies for responding to the challenges that I just explained. And you will be able to recognize that mistakes can support learning and improvement. Maybe you can already pick one of these that you will find most useful for today's session. Then maybe you can also compare that at the end of the session to what you actually found to be most useful. Now, let us talk about challenges. Challenges are situations when something feels difficult. And those are also the situations in which our brain is often doing important work. Challenge is not always a sign to stop. It's just sometimes a sign that some learning is happening. I'll give you an example. When you learn to play a musical instrument, like the guitar, for instance, your left and your right hand need to be very well coordinated, and they're doing opposite things at different times. So when you first learn to play the guitar, the mere coordination of the 2 hands is something that you really need to practice. And there will be a lot of moments when you feel like giving up because you feel like you just can't do it. But those are the moments when the growth mindset tells you, oh no, I can overcome that. I can grow from this situation. Because yes, maybe I played the wrong tune, but I'll try again. And then next time I'll play the right one. And needless to say that the same thing will hold true for any school situation. Now, I already explained it a little bit in that there are 2 ways of thinking. There is what we call a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is basically like this. You set barriers for yourself and you think within those. And you basically push yourself down with every sentence. I'm just not good at this. I can't do this. I'll never be able to do it. And mistakes mean that I failed. Mistakes are a key one because very often we think that, oh my God, I made a mistake. And that means I'm not good at this. On the contrary, or it means that I can never be good at this, even worse. On the contrary, you can very well be good at this if you give yourself the chance to grow from the challenge. Hence, the growth mindset. Now, if you apply that growth mindset, let's pick a situation. Let's say math is your least favorite subject. Now, whether that's true or not doesn't matter, but just picture the situation. You're sitting in a classroom, it's your least favorite subject, but instead of going, oh, man, I'll never be able to do this, I just can't get a hang of it, etc., you sit there and you go, okay, I'm going to tackle this. I know I can improve with practice, and I'm willing to try again. And if I make a mistake, then this only means that my brain just hasn't built the connection yet. And so I need to give my brain a little bit more time. Or if you think like me, I think in terms of associations, your brain might not have built that link to the other link yet, and so you're missing a small element. But once you have that, you'll be able to understand and apply that learning and that knowledge. So this is the growth mindset. And the next thing we'll be talking about is what happens inside your brain when we learn and how our brains grow when we do that. But I'm going to pause here for the moment. This was just for demonstration purposes. This is what a recording could look like. And this would be the exact same setup for a live as well as a recorded session. I pre-programmed the slides to leave out or to give me space on the lower right-hand side of the slide so that everyone can see me at all times and I'm not taking up additional space, knowing that some of these kids might be watching this on a smaller screen potentially. So this, I think, is a good workaround for that, and I'm using OBS as I indicated earlier. And this is currently the setup at home. Obviously, at the office, I have a professional microphone and a better camera as well, but this was just meant to sort of illustrate what the recording might look like. And then basically, if I go through the slides, these are the same slides I used for the demo, but I reprogrammed them not to show information on the lower right-hand side. Content-wise, those the same. And this would be an example of the questions that we ask at the end. And then obviously the answers wouldn't show, and then we'd have to see how we would do that in terms of showing that on the screen. But that's pretty much where I'm coming from in terms of pre-recording sessions. And I will now send you the file.